from
EDF Energy.
I'm Brad Lascarbo.
And I'm Hal Butchgrass.
Seeing some mind-bending, pants-ripping, jaw-dropping soccer action.
It's a relaxed, determined England team that arrived here at Nuremberg's Frankenstadion. Determined to win, but to do it with style and authority, and maybe with Wayne Rooney. Trinidad and Tobago, they've already surprised Sweden. Now, how high can they lift themselves for the biggest match of their lives? Good afternoon and welcome. A match, they say, that should see England comfortably through to the last 16. But who knows? It could be a romp, it could be a rout, it could be the greatest day in the short history of Caribbean football. Or it could be Rooney. The Football Association are saying he is now officially fit and ready.
Anxious times for the reporters.
He would need a miracle.
Wayne Rooney is
not medical logic, really.
The blood of the broken foot.
Of the metatarsal.
We have to be careful with him.
Wayne Rooney, hope of the nation.
For me, he's match fit.
Still a very long way to go.
We haven't played to our maximum. We've got 3 points.
The heat played a factor.
11 players is not going to win us the World Cup. The whole squad will.
The saga goes on.
Stop it. Surely they can win the final.
It's definitely not match fit.
I just don't get this game.
Wayne Rooney is so desperate to play.
For me, Rooney is match fit.
England, maybe with Rooney at some stage against Trinidad and Tobago. England's second match in these World Cup finals. After a modest opening victory against Paraguay, an England win here will put them through to the knockout stage, the last 16. Well, those are the basic facts you need to know. More information now comes from Gabriel Clark.
Well, while one Manchester United player returns to England's squad, another drops out. Gary Neville picked up that calf injury in training yesterday, so Sven-Göran Eriksson had just the one decision to make about his starting 11, and these are the teams. Eriksson has gone for the experience of Jamie Carragher at right back, not the pace of Owen Hargreaves, the only change from Saturday's starting 11. Wayne Rooney is on the bench. Trinidad and Tobago include Southampton's Kenwyne Jones in midfield. Otis Whitley replaces the suspended Avery John at left back. Well, their coach, Leo Benhacker, says his team are relishing the chance to humble some of those big superstar England reputations, and they're probably going to get a closer look at Wayne Rooney. We expect his introduction at some stage this evening.
Sam, Stewart and Terry are here. And Terry, what is the significance of Wayne Rooney's potential return?
Well, the pressure is on Owen and Crouch tonight. They've got to play well. Can they keep Rooney on the bench? If not, which one will make room for him?
You expect to see Rooney tonight, maybe in the last 15 or so?
I do, actually. I think the script's there for him to come on. But it's up to them to try and keep him off. But I think they will bring him on anyway.
So Owen and Crouch, how do they respond to this fresh challenge? Especially Michael Owen with just a few question marks over his form, Stuart.
I think he's got a lot to prove at the moment. I think his form's not top-notch, as we know. He's got a lot to do, if you like. There's someone coming back to full fitness that might put him out the team. On what I've seen, I thought Crouchy was arguably our best player in the last match. Coming into that, he's got his hat-trick as well. He's the one player I'll be saying, right, it's me and another at the moment. Crouchy, for me, is the number one forward. Now, it's up to the other two to scrap it out for a place.
What are you looking for from Michael Owen tonight, especially that Owen-Crouch partnership?
Well, I'm looking for Michael to feed on the shoulder of Peter Crouch and for Peter to play him in, and I think that get back to getting in behind defences and doing what he's best at, and that's scoring goals. And I think playing through Peter Crouch is the best way to get chances for Michael Owen to get back on the goal trail. And, of course, more very important match fitness. And like everybody else, I think at some stage, and hopefully when England have secured the match, we will see Wayne Rooney at some stage.
Take a look at how England line up tonight. 4-4-2, that's no great surprise. Carragher coming in for Gary Neville instead of Hargreaves. What does that signify to you, Sam?
I think that he wants his very solid back four not to give anything away. I know it's Trinidad and Tobago, but it's very important that back four stays solid, concedes nothing, doesn't give Trinidad and Tobago a sniff, and it releases the rest. We are playing a side that we should be beating, so the attacking flair of the midfield four and the front two should come out tonight, and I hope that's the case, and we score goals, as many as we possibly can, but as long as we get them early and go for them, that's all that matters.
We talk about the Owen-Crouch partnership needing to find form tonight. What about Lampard and Gerrard in the midfield?
Yeah, there's been a problem. He's shown that there's been a problem. He's played Carrick in midfield. He's played Carragher there. We've played King there, and at the last minute he's come back to this same four, of which we have had problems. I don't see us having those problems tonight. We'll go forward, and I think we'll win the game as it is tonight. But I don't want to paper over the cracks, because once we come to a really difficult team, I'm wondering whether we'll be able to play that four. I still want to see it a little more cohesive as it was in the second half against Paraguay. I really do.
So once we come to Germany, Argentina potentially, you feel the formation's got to change?
I think it may have to. This is why it's going to be interesting to see how we go. I think Gerrard did hold his role. I thought he did that very well, but it still didn't look quite balanced how I'd like to see. We've got a good back four, but sometimes at some stage we'll need a help. We can't just rely on it, although it's doing magnificently well for us, and I hope that keeps going.
Stuart, there's a little bit more of that England spirit starting to build up among the supporters out in the stadium there. What are you looking for in terms of spirit, England spirit tonight, England determination and character?
I think the first thing we're looking for is a result. We need to win the game, go on to 6 points and get qualified. That's the main thing. I think a bit more cohesion between the side, a bit more keeping possession, a touch better than we have done in previous games. That's key, especially when it's warm. You have to keep possession of the ball. Looking at the tournament so far, the Argentinas of this world, they've kept the ball very well. We've got to do better at that.
OK, it is warm out there, but it's clouded over in the last 20 minutes or so. A little bit of rain in the air as well. We haven't quite got the Caribbean heat to go with the Caribbean atmosphere. And after last weekend, well, that's a great relief to both sides. He's still enjoying himself, though. But in all other respects, the temperature is rising here in Nuremberg, and we'll take a closer look at Trinidad and Tobago when we return.
So the FIFA World Cup 2006 continues, with England playing Trinidad and Tobago.
That doesn't seem fair, but okay.
What do the papers think England's chances are?
Well, I got to tell you that Curvy Katie, 18 of Bedford, thinks that they're going to do real well.
Okay, it seems like...
England unchanged in the expensive seats. Posh, Cheryl and Colleen, they don't struggle for tickets. But once again, the England fans in general seem to be here in numbers that seem to far exceed their ticket allocation. And that's a good thing for the World Cup and also the atmosphere that's generating alongside the Trinidad and Tobago fans who are going to enjoy every minute of today. Their first World Cup finals last weekend, they were able to celebrate their first point in the finals. They brought so much to Germany 2006, especially that dear lady. I wonder how much their team can take away from this wonderful competition. Well, they're learning all the time and they're surprising all the time, but England in the World Cup finals is the match that could lift this side to new and inspired heights.
Cocooned in five-star splendour and equipped with 5-gear transport, the boys of TNT are slowly coming to terms with what's happening to them.
It's a dream come true. I mean, it's topped the last 18 months off.
This is a very historical moment for us.
These are the days you live for, really, in football.
Last Saturday, the Grand Old Duke of York led his 10 men to the most famous point in their nation's history, a game they say they won 0-0.
It brought so much frenzy to our country. I mean, the entire country was partying and celebrating. The Prime Minister was in St. James with the people. I mean, he was able to say that, that they have actually motivated and inspired an entire nation.
Shaka Hislop was an inspirational figure that night, coming on only after their regular keeper Kelvin Jack was injured in the warm-up. He'll play again against England, and so will a handful of lower league pros. Would you swap the Priestfield for this at the moment, being honest?
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, like, sort of, that's bread and butter, innit? Your work back there, but this is like, you know, the icing on the cake for me, really.
In the centre of the park, Port Vale's Chris Birchall, the man they call White York.
I don't really suffer from nerves, so it'll just be more of excitement of playing in that big stage, knowing that so many people are watching and hopefully trying to do Trinidad proud.
The captain, no longer a striker, he drops deep into midfield now and will orchestrate the team's assault on former friends and colleagues.
They're a fantastic team. I think they got, you know, fantastic play in every position, really. We can't think too much of that. We just got to be ourselves and play our own game.
Leo Beenhakker is a brilliant coach, but suggests that his team are here to make up the numbers and watch him bristle.
I never understood the first reaction of most of you after the draw. Paraguay and Trinidad and Tobago didn't exist. It's a mistake. Why at least we have the right to play these games with courage and with confidence, and we will do that, I can assure you, with a smile on our face.
And he's having a good time here, isn't he, Leo Beenhakker?
He's having a fantastic time. He's been a really good coach, coached the world, all around the world, and I'm really got a lot of respect for him. He knows what he's doing, but it's up to us to wipe that smile off their face now. They've lived the dream, and wonderful. Yeah. But it's time to wake up, and we've got to have some reality checks here tonight, and we've got to forget that and get on and be ruthless.
And especially from a player's point of view, to wipe the smile off Dwight York's face. We were saying earlier, he is going to be insufferable if he gets anything against England. But what about his kind of transformation from striker to holding midfield player? It's a sort of rebirth, isn't it?
I think it's given him a massive lift, probably equated to sort of late on in my career, you know, foresight to drop me inside and play me a left side of a three, which sort of rekindled me. I think the same's happened to Dwight. He's played in there. I couldn't believe watching the game the other day how comfortable he looked in there. Now he's doesn't have to use his legs as much, but he uses his brain. He's got a clever footballing brain.
What could a Trinidad and Tobago midfield, helped by Dwight York, get out of the England midfield? They can contest that area, can't they?
Well, it's going to be a test for Lampard and Gerrard, because they're going to play with a three. Trinidad and Tobago, and Dwight's going to be sitting there, so they're going to be outnumbered by one, so it's going to be interesting to see how England cope with that. By rights they should have no problems, but if they actually get the ball in there, Trinidad and Tobago, and Dwight very, very good at keeping possession, and if England can't get on top of that, that means that we might struggle in that department, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
There were warm handshakes from Dwight York for the likes of Wayne Rooney ahead of this match when they all arrived. The potential of seeing Rooney a little bit later on is very exciting. What about the physical confrontation that he might be in for from some of these Trinidad and Tobago players?
Well, funny enough, when you get a player that sits in front of the back four like York will, he is the one you should really stop to supply the passing. People talk about other attacking players, and the way we're set up at the moment, I don't think we can stop him getting the ball. If he comes on, Rooney, he plays in that position where he can get it off of him and counter-attack. He can stop him playing, stop him giving the passes. The other night, he did that midfield row very well indeed, York, defensively. But he gives the ball away a lot, which he doesn't normally do. Yeah. So we've got to stop that. We've got to make sure that happens tonight.
Is there a danger that they might look to target Wayne Rooney's injured foot? They put in some heavy tackles already in the match against Sweden.
I don't necessarily think you can limit it to Wayne Rooney.
Exactly.
The bottom line is, if I was in Trinidad's position and I was their manager, I'd say, I want more of the same. Let's get Wade in a little bit, upset a few people, play our game. Hopefully the referee will look kindly upon us and see if we can upset England's momentum. The last thing they'll want is England to pass that ball around and the flair players in the English side to get the better of it.
What would be your instruction to Wayne Rooney before he comes on, if indeed he does, in terms of his mental approach to the 15 minutes that he might have? He's going to be fired up, isn't he?
Well, I'd ask him not to get too fired up, and I'd certainly ask him to move the ball on quickly and not run with it too much, which will obviously entice the Trinidad and Tobago's in to tackle him and maybe catch that foot. So I'd want him to feel his way in the game. And like I say, I would only bring him on when the game is comfortable for England.
Right, let's get some more views from outside now, where Gareth Southgate, our co-commentator for this match, he's with Jim Rosenthal.
Because there's always pressure when you play for England, and none more so than today when you're expected to beat a side. But he likes the players to get on with their own thing before kick-off.
Are you expecting to see Wayne Rooney on the pitch today?
I think we will. You know, we know he's not starting, but I think he'll look to give him a bit of game time in order to prepare him for later in the tournament.
What's more important, the performance or the points?
Well, I think we all want to see England play well. You know, that would give everybody a lift. But if we don't get the win, then there'll be, there'll be an absolute slating. So you have to get both.
And Trinidad and Tobago, we saw them against the Swedes. Is that their performance, or have they got more left?
Well, I think it was. I don't think they can play any better than that. But we must counter that by saying this is the game of their lives. So they're going to make it as tough as they can, but the team that we should beat.
Massive support here around us for England. What will that do to the players?
Well, that's one of the great highlights of playing for England. Everywhere you travel, our supporters are better than anyone in the world, so it gives everybody a huge lift.
Cheers, Gareth. A few spots of rain down here as well, Steve. That'll do nicely for England.
Gareth Southgate will be alongside Clive Tilsley with a couple of the best seats in the house. And we could offer you something similar for England's final group game against Sweden on Tuesday. Just get lucky in our ITV competition.
We're giving you and 3 friends the chance to see Sweden versus England on the 20th of June. If you can, England on the 20th of June. Scored for England against Sweden in the player in World Cup. Or C, John Terry. The prize is courtesy of Budweiser and includes flights and accommodation for the 4 of you. Digital satellite viewers can press their red button now to enter, or ring 09012 934 934 or text WORLD followed by A, B or C to 63337. Calls cost £1 per entry from a BT landline. Mobile rates vary. Text will cost £1 plus 1 message at standard rate.
Yes, book your World Cup place through our ITV competition. 2 managers with a lot of respect and a lot of contribute to the excitement to come, Sven and Leo Beenhakker. A great deal of mutual respect there. England against Trinidad and Tobago. The last 16 beckons for England. We'll hear from the players next.
Where do they get their energy from?
EDF Energy, providing energy to millions of homes.
Where do they get their energy from?
EDF Energy, providing energy to millions of homes.
It's 26 degrees and humid here in Nuremberg, but life is pretty chill, pretty relaxed for supporters of the Soccer Warriors. But if England can beat Trinidad and Tobago today, they're through to the last 16, and so life will be a great deal more relaxed for England and their supporters. England boosted by the news earlier today that it is now official that Wayne Rooney is fit and available for this match. We may well see him in the latter stages. But if you just joined us and want to know the England starting lineup, our co-commentator Gareth Southgate is on hand to guide you through it.
And here is Sven's team for this afternoon's game. In goal, Paul Robinson, a calm presence and a big kicker. At left back, Ashley Cole, a real bonus that he's fit for this tournament. And the centre halves, John Terry, a terrific leader and a big threat at set pieces, and Rio Ferdinand, strong and composed in possession. A right back, Jamie Carragher, deputising for the injured Gary Neville. No problem for him this afternoon. In midfield, Joe Cole, dazzling tricks and now delivering for the team. Frank Lampard, who comes up so often with the important goals, and Steven Gerrard, holding at the weekend. We all prefer to see him driving forward. The captain, set-piece delivery so important for the team at the moment, and Peter Crouch becoming a focal point of Sven's game plan. Lastly, Michael Owen, only 26 and playing in his 3rd World Cup.
And such a mighty relief for the England players to get back into action after all the words and all the comment that their mixed performance against Paraguay generated. And in the last 24 hours, the England players have been adding a few further words of their own.
Sven, how do you reflect on the first game?
I mean, the important thing, we did the job. We didn't play brilliant football second half, but the tournament is long.
From watching World Cup games all my life and dreaming of playing in one, to be there was a great moment. The game itself was very tough because it was a World Cup opener, which we all know from history are very tough, but I enjoyed playing in it.
It certainly was a high-pressure game. I'm glad that we've won it, and the confidence is high leading into the next game.
They said Trinidad and Tobago was the easiest game in this group. Do you agree?
Well, I don't agree now because I think that's an easy thing to say, and I think that takes away everything we know about World Cups. It takes away everything that we saw them do against Sweden. To play with 10 men for virtually half against Sweden and come out of a 0-0 draw is a fantastic result, so they'll be on a high out of that.
They looked a very strong physical team, and you know, we certainly want to go there and get the job done, and I think we're good at that. I think we'll be very professional, and I think we'll go there and you know, we should win the game.
Leo Benhacker, a wise man, you know him very well. He says, I have the players and the tactics to embarrass England.
Yes, he told me, I'm going to make life difficult for you, he said. Yeah, he's a lot of experience, of course, been around for a long time, and he's a very good one.
Them players, you know, are desperate to beat what they see as the big hitters who might play in the league above them or whatever, so I think we've got to give them a lot of respect.
On paper, people are going to say that we're the better team, but teams on paper never win games. It's a cliche, but it's a fact.
I think he's going to be a good game.
Cliche, but it's...
I think he's a good spirit. I think I saw the Trinidad and Tobago lads play the other day, and I think they was getting stuck in and some tackles in, but you can see that they've got the right intentions. And this is one of them games where you worry that Xhaka is a massive game, that everything could be, you know, being tipped around the post and over and everything. So he's a big player for them.
Only once before in major tournaments have England won their first two group games.
Well, let's try. The plan is to do it, and should be very nice to have 6 points before you meet Sweden.
Stuart, Sven says he hasn't looked at the newspaper since coming out here, but how aware would the players have been about the mixed reaction to that Paraguay performance?
I'd obviously not been involved in an England camp, but certainly in my time when we went away to the World Cup, we knew near enough nothing about what was going on back home. I'm sure the media probably infiltrate the camp a little bit better now, and players are more aware of what goes on, but in my time we knew near enough nothing about the euphoria that was going on back home, or even what was in the national media. But I think the media attention nowadays is cranked up 100% since then.
The expectation back home is that England are going to knock in 5 or 6 here this evening. How difficult does that make things for England?
Extremely difficult, I think, because we saw Trinidad and Tobago play well above what they normally could, but put a great team performance together with an old wiry coach who's got very good tactics, you know. And I think that you know, life could be difficult, but if England do get the first goal and get it early enough, then we might see 2 or 3, or Trinidad might collapse. But up to that point, I think it could be difficult.
But goals are so important tonight. England goals from open play, and England goals from Michael Owen especially.
I think all those things are important, but we've got to take care of the job in hand, and that is to get through to the next round. Take nothing for granted, as you said earlier, and let's make sure we do the job right. Forget all the bits and the pieces. I know it's entertainment, and no one loves that more than me. But let's get into it. We may not have to actually worry about the last game, and we might be able to put some players in, and Rooney, and get his fitness going, and do all those things, and then get in to see about the next game and improve as we go along, so we can play our good football, so we can show what we can do, like other teams are doing. It's no good playing well and not getting the points on the board. So far we've got 3 points. Now improve and let's play football. Let's make it unwrap.
I think the fact that Trinidad played so well in that first game was a wake-up call for us before we needed a wake-up call, if you like. We're aware of how good they are and how competitive they are in the game.
Correct.
OK, well, in World Cups down the years, England, they've had bad days, they've had tense days, they've had frustrating days. So if everything goes to plan, it should be none of those in Nuremberg tonight. Let's hope it's the kind of World Cup performance that every England fan enjoys.
Fantastic save by Beck. And a goal. Robson in under 30 seconds. Lineker! Brilliant! And Player has scored!
I'm Brad Lascarbo here with my co-host Hal Butchgrass. So, who do you want to win, Hal? Well done. Yeah, this looks
real straight in this little house. I said, let me borrow your outfit. And he's like, okay.
Just gave it to you.
Yeah.
English hospitality.
Paul Robinson, goalkeeper.
Jamie Carragher, defender.
John Terry, defender.
Rio Ferdinand, defender.
Ashley Cole, defender.
Joe Cole, midfield.
Frank Lampard, midfield.
Steven Gerrard, midfield. David Beckham, captain.
Peter Crouch, striker.
Michael Owen, striker.
Sven's England team, they're ready. I'm sure you're ready. The World Cup adventure continues. Commentators for England against Trinidad and Tobago, Gareth Southgate and Clive Tildesley.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm well aware that not everybody watching wants England to win.